What does the 1% do that the rest of us don't, besides not paying taxes? Better yet, let me ask you this. If you won a lottery ticket for $1 million, what would you do with it? Buy a new car, a new house, or maybe travel, right? 99% of us would do at least one of these things. And don't get me wrong, a new car is nice. But there's something that the 1% does that the rest of us don't, including smashing that like button for the YouTube algorithm. Judging by the title of this video, you already know what it is. They buy assets. And I know what you're thinking.
Isn't a house an asset?
Well, let's take a look at how Google defines an asset. A useful or valuable thing, person, or quality. Okay, we got that. Now let's take a look at how Google defines a liability. The state of being responsible for something, especially by law. Most financial advisors, which I am not, would consider a home an asset, but I beg to differ. In the early 1930s, banks needed a way to sell money. Sure, they could give a business loan to someone who wanted to start a business, but that was extremely risky.
But why was it risky?
Because statistically, 9 out of 10 businesses fail, which means that 9 out of the 10 loans given for the businesses would fail. Also, the business owner had the ability to file bankruptcy if they felt like their business was going under or wasn't going to succeed, which would leave the bank high and dry. So the banks had to come up with a solution, and that solution was the American dream. Banks spent billions in marketing trying to convince the middle-class American that in order to be living that dream, you have to have that home with the white picket fence. The builders of most homes in the United States make a profit anywhere between 21 to 23%. Real estate agents make anywhere from 5 to 6%. 90% of Americans buy a home with a 30-year mortgage, with 20% down and an average APR of 3.5%. This ends up translating to over 61% profit for the bank over the course of the mortgage. This means that you end up spending 61% more than what your home is actually valued at. Never mind things like repairs. Experts estimate that the average cost of home maintenance and repairs is estimated to be 2 to 4% annually of the entire home's value. So for that $200,000 home, that's up to $8,000 in repairs in just 1 year alone. The American dream quickly went from an asset to a liability, and people have been misled for years, all due to marketing. Now, real estate isn't always a bad asset, especially when you can get tenants that pay for your mortgage, your insurance, and even your taxes, while also having a profit annually of 4% of the entire home's value. To pay for those repairs and maintenances, of course.
Okay, but then what is a good asset then?
A great asset has 3 characteristics. An asset that is deemed valuable is the number one fundamental, as things are only as valuable as people view them as. In short, if you don't have others to validate the value, then technically there is no use, thus making the asset not valuable. Characteristic number 2, doesn't require maintenance. At the end of the day, we all use money to establish value, but it's not the most valuable thing. The most valuable thing is time, and unfortunately, due to the distribution of resources, we are forced to exchange our time in exchange for money, due to the fact that basic necessities in which we need to survive are purchased through money. Things like food, water, and shelter. Hence the statement, time is money. If your asset requires maintenance, then it requires your attention, which pulls your time, the most valuable thing, thus creating a liability. Characteristic number 3 gives you a return of 10% or more, with the average savings account having an annual interest rate of 0.06% a year. Technically, you are losing money and not saving it. The reason why this is because you also are trying to fight against inflation, which is at that 2.28%. So, technically, you are losing 2.2% of your money every single year due to inflation. And for those of you that are like,
Terrence, 2.2% isn't even that bad.
Well, it is, especially if you have a lot of money sitting around. Let's say you have $100,000. 2.2% of $100,000 is $2,200 a year, which ends up being $42.19 each week, all because you don't have your money in the right places, which is why having your money in a bank account is not a good idea. Banks don't actually just like have your money sit there. What they do is they take your money and they lend it in loans, and they also invest it in stocks. Stocks are a great asset for a number of reasons, and I'll show you a few. Number one, high rate of return. Over the past 60 years, stocks have gave an annual return of 7 to 10% a year, compared to real estate, which is only 2 to 4%. Number two, more liquid. If you don't like a stock or need more cash, you can immediately sell a stock compared to real estate, which takes months. Reason 3, low transaction costs. Online transaction costs are under $5 a trade compared to real estate, which takes 5 to 6% that goes to the real estate agent. 4, and one of my favorites, less work. Real estate takes constant management due to maintenance, conflicts with neighbors, and tenant rotation. Stocks, on the other hand, can literally be left alone forever while also paying out quarterly dividends. And if it even makes you feel more comfortable, you can even hire someone to manage your stock portfolio for under 1%. 5, more diversification. Unless you are super rich, you can't own properties in Honolulu, Amsterdam, and all of the other great cities of the world. With stocks, you can not only invest in different countries, you can also invest in various sectors. A well-diversified stock portfolio can be way less volatile than a real estate portfolio. People forget that buying property is a highly concentrated bet with debt in a single asset class. 6, you get to invest in a product you care about. One of the fun aspects of the stock market is you get to actually invest in things that you use, which is a great feeling to not only use the product you invest in, but also make money off of it. People often say things like,
Stocks are too risky.
but I beg to differ. All forms of investing require some form of initial research, followed by some form of risk. Even when buying that home, you still have to consider things like debt to income ratio, duration of stay, job security, down payments, your emotional state, local market indicators, and even mortgage rates. The list goes on and on. The thing I enjoy most about the stock market is that there's actually safe plays, like my favorite index fund, the Standard & Poor's 500, or what most people call it, the S&P 500 for short. This is one of the safe plays in the stock market, as it's made up of the top 500 companies in the United States. It's like betting against Apple, Amazon, and Google to fail. I don't know about you, but I consider it a much safer bet to bet on Google over the course of the next 10 years than the performance of your home. Bottom line, if you pull the marketing of the American dream aside, both stocks and real estate can be a solid means of establishing an asset when done right. If you're like me and prefer to put in the initial work up front to acquire something that has little to no maintenance, then the stock market is the right way to go. What's going on? Thanks for making it this far. It is appreciated, and I just wanted to make this little video to thank you. I also wanted to say, make sure that you are subscribed to this channel, and if you haven't yet, hit that like button. Help a brother out. Help me with this algorithm. Help me get these videos out there. Once again, thanks for making it this far. It's greatly appreciated. I work really hard on these videos. But yeah, I'm going to keep giving you guys personal finance videos, and if you guys have anything you want me to talk about next, make sure you comment below. But other than that, until next time, peace.